Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Monday's Wealth Creation Show. Now, we are doing the 10 rules of wealth building today, Jim. Lots of really good content to go through today.
People on TikTok and Instagram will be wondering, how's he doing that when he's no moving his lip?
Yeah, and I was just about to say we are streaming live. We're live, Jim's streaming live through Instagram and TikTok, and I'm here in the studio with all the other social media pages, including our YouTube page, where you could
Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook,
yes,
you name it, we're on it. And if we're not on it, tell us about it and we'll be on that as well.
Yeah, so live, interactive, guys. Keep the questions coming through. We will go through what we're talking about today if we feel the questions are relevant. We will answer them. If not, we'll get to the end.
Richard, give me a brief summary of why we're talking about the 10 rules of wealth building. Why are we talking about this?
The 10 rules of wealth building it's not just all about the money. It's about the journey and how you get there and the purpose that you're doing that and the benefits to you and the others around you that will benefit from you generating this wealth.
When you said it's not all about the money, I thought I'm on the wrong show.
Well, when we go through it today, of course, the money is the big element in it, but it's the mindset and the attitude towards the money when building wealth as opposed to being rich. There's a big difference there, and we've covered that several times.
You're never literally going to get the wealth if you don't understand the rules.
Yes.
And understanding rules means you'll attract the wealth for that very reason. That's the fundamental difference. I hope everybody understands that. Here's the classic mindset. When you get your salary, do you immediately think about how much have I got to invest and what have I got left to spend? Or do you immediately think about what have I got to spend and then how much have I got left to invest?
How much have I got left? And it should be done the other way around.
One is what we call a broke mindset, and that's the latter. The former is a wealth building mindset. It is the people that will actually make it, no matter what it is they're in. We talk about property investment a lot because obviously that's a field, but actually business building, I've been successful in that as well. I've had a lot of failures as well, which you can learn from. But it doesn't matter. You can apply these principles anywhere in your life or anywhere in a business or anybody else's life or anywhere in the world, anywhere in the universe. And it's still the same universal principles everywhere you go. It does not change no matter what country you're in, no matter what language you speak. It is always fundamentally the same principles. Hence the reason we're talking about the 10 rules of wealth building.
Yes.
Maybe I got that through with everybody.
Yeah. And like you say, Jim, it doesn't matter what country you're in, what your economy is like. This is all relevant to building wealth, no matter where you are. Can I just quickly? Owen's asking. It's not a Windsor, not Owen. It's actually, I think it's a Victoria, not in matter.
I've got a half Windsor.
I've got a Victoria.
I do a half Windsor. Big Windsors are bit too big or not for me. I'm just content with a half Windsor.
That'll do a Windsor not for a wedding or something like that. Usually. Anyway, so right, the 10 rules. Let's kick off. So the first one is to get deeply motivated. Motivation is such a key thing, and sometimes money itself could be a bit of a shallow motivator. Maybe a wee bit too shallow to drive you deep enough to achieve the success that you really want. And the problem is financial wealth is an extreme goal with benefits limited to the world, maybe outside you. So money buys things, but money doesn't necessarily buy happiness. We've covered that in previous shows as well. But it can build a kind of a pretty prison, but it could also get you out of that prison as well. The inherent limits of like external goals and I refer to maybe like fancy homes, cars, big bank accounts. These similarly limit you and how motivated you will be when pursuing them. So to be motivated is really an important key. Jim, let's have a wee just we look at like your motivation that you've had over the years and what's kept you motivated to achieve your goals and success.
Before I start, actually, hello to Denny Duncan on TikTok. Denny, that's where I mentored previously, and he's now leaving school, going to college, hopefully, and doing fantastic things. So hello, Denny. Thanks for tuning in. What was the question, Richard?
We're just talking about, obviously, the motivation and what motivates you to achieve your goals and achieve your success. And I was just wanted you to maybe I'll put you on the spot and say, what was your view on your motivation to get to where you've been, to get to where you are, and where you plan to be? Because you've still not finished your journey.
You're lucky, actually. We talked about this morning. My thinking time this morning, when I was walking around and I was talking about this, and it's like Ian said to me, did you ever, Matt Higgins talks about, from Shark Tank, talks about burn the boats. So what was you? And I was like, Monte Carlo or bust. It was all or nothing for me. I knew I wanted something more. I knew I wanted something bigger. I did not know what that was. And it was a case of just trying everything possible to get into that mindset and get into that frame of mind that will actually allow me to keep accelerating myself, but also have faith in myself. So motivation is basically motive for action. That's what it means, really. You can have internal motivation, which is within, which is you build that within. That's the best motivation to ever have. Or you can have external motivation, which is attending a function or reading a book or listening to a podcast, which is rah, you're fantastic. 3 days later, you're back in a slump. That's where internal motivation actually takes over. So if you have that belief within, nothing will stop you. So what motivated me the most was my circumstances. Homeless, unemployed isn't really much to go from when you think about the logic of that. There's only one way you can go, and it's up. So when you're at that level and you've not got 2 pennies to rub together, you've not really got any formal education. Because I came out of school and went straight to work with my dad as a cleaner and a window cleaner, and I had 4 O grades, 1 higher at a scraped. That was about it. Higher maths, I scraped through it because I got somebody to help me, a coach or whatever you call them. So I got that higher maths, scraped through it, and the rest is history, because it was really, there was no way anybody was ever going to employ me for anything other than a cleaner after that, because I'd done nothing else after that. I just worked as a window cleaner. So effectively, I do remember actually applying for a job in a hotel in Pitlochry, and they went, "Yeah, no bother, come and live in, and you can be a cleaner." And I thought, maybe no, can't see me doing that for the rest of my life. But then you won't be doing that for the rest of your life unless you do something different, because there is nothing else to do.
Yeah, I think it's the whole thinking outside the box thing as well.
Well, I never had thinking outside the box. I was completely pre-programmed and conditioned by the system. And what I mean by the system, the education system. And everybody in my peer group round about me to actually, well, it wasn't, peer group's somebody you look up to. But in hindsight, I maybe shouldn't have been looking up to these people, because they never really had what I wanted. And if they don't have what I wanted, then why would I listen to them? What was the point of listening to them if they don't have what you want? I say that all the time. If anybody gives you any advice, have a look at what they've got. And if they've got what you really want in terms of wealth and notoriety and fame, if that's what you're after, then listen to them. Take their advice, take it on board and action it, because they're more than likely, that's what they did to get where they were. If they don't have what you want, then don't listen to a thing. And by the way, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah, I like that saying. I really like that saying, actually. Because a lot of people get too hung up on what everybody else thinks and really, or says, they should say, and really, does it matter?
And really, it's down to the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yes.
I didn't want to say the other word, but you know what I mean. and you could say, "Oh, that's complacent," and that's nice and all the rest of it. But some people you just have to ignore, because some of the closest people around about you can be really toxic in your environment, and they will feed on you. Remember, they will feed on you. They will take from you all the time. They will take all your energy. They're called energy vampires. They just suck the life right out of you. You ever had these people where you walk into a room, by the time you walk out, you're absolutely deflated.
Deflated, yeah.
Because somebody's spoken to you and they've just deflated you completely. Some people do it on social media as well. They're energy vampires. They immediately jump onto social media and make some random comment, which is very vague, and then everybody jumps in and they go, "You're right, love," and "You're right, people," and all the rest of it. And then, I'll PM you. And then by the time you finish with the PM, you're like, "Oh my God, it's like I've got a headache." Energy vampires.
Yeah.
Stay away from them. Don't fall for the clickbait. They're wonderful people, and we love them to bits, more than likely, but they'll suck the life right out of you and the energy. And that's your motivation. That's what keeps you going. So the motivation for me, in a nutshell, when I bring it back, I was stony broke. I could only go up, and I didn't know where I was going, but I met mentors who were far more successful, meteoric success. Retiring at 25s of meteoric success, retiring at 25 years old, and never work again financially free. That's my mentors. So when I met these people, it's like, my God, they must know something I don't. And they convinced me, and they more or less tricked me into the feeling. And everybody goes, it's a cult. And it's like, no, trick me as much as you want, as long as I'm wealthy. They more or less tricked my mindset into believing that the fact that to have the blind faith, and actually, if I do this, this will happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that ever would happen, but I know a lot of people that didn't do it. It was like the classic example of let's bake a cake. And I was always taught this analogy, and you've heard this one before, but everybody else needs to be reinforced about this. Let's bake a cake, okay? And we'll bake it to the exact instructions we're meant to do. And do you think it'll turn out how it should? Now, 99 times out of 100, it more than likely will. I tell you what we'll do this time, though. We'll bake the same cake, but we'll decide, I tell you what, we'll not do as much hard work. We'll leave the eggs out. Do you think the cake's going to turn out the same?
No.
Absolutely not. So that's the blind faith that I took, and the fact that people said to me, you follow this system of events and processes, which really float my boat, to be honest, and you will get that result. A lot of these things were uncomfortable because I've never done them before. But the most important thing about it was, if you're uncomfortable doing something in business or in your career, and you know it's going to make you successful. For example, I could never lift up the phone. I could never cold call people. It was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And it was the dreams that I built for myself about what the future could be like that got me to lift that phone up and phone people and go through that uncomfortable experience. But like running into the water, if you just run into the water and jump in and swim about, you get used to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you keep running in and running out of the water, you don't get used to it pretty quick at all. You have to start from scratch every single time. So you just need to jump in. You just need to dive in, have the complete blind faith that the mentor is telling you what to do, and it's the right thing to do, and just go for it, big style.
Yeah.
And that's literally what drove me. It was all these internally driven goals I focused on in order to succeed. It's the fact that the freedom, breaking loose the shackles of the daily labour, having more time and creative to create and live to my fullest potential. For me, it was a lot to do with the charity as well. I don't know about you, but I always watch Undercover Boss America still. And I used to watch.
I've watched it, yeah.
I used to watch Secret Millionaire, and one of my friends is Kevin Green. Now, Kevin was actually on Secret Millionaire years ago on Channel 4. And I remember Kevin being on, and then I met him later on, and he, I went to one of his workshops, and he explained to me how things work and how property investment works, how wealth creation works as well. And I was like, wow. And it's been a student, and that probably comes to growth then. But more importantly, the charity thing that's what I've always dreamed about. I've always dreamed about being able to do that. I carry money in my pocket, and I don't carry money in my pocket, cash in my pocket. I carry this cash to give away. And it's literally when we're down in London, so I was just giving money away. I got another 50 quid at the cash line because I've given all the other £50 away, and I was just giving it away to people. It really needed it in the street, because that's what I want to do. That's what floats my boat. That's what keeps me going. That's the dream I always had. There's only so much money you can make, and the rest is just for show. I'm not a show person. I don't do the show thing. And that's what drove me forward with the charity thing. The growth, especially for the financial freedom, more time to pursue personal freedoms, wealth in your external world becomes a mirror of wealth in your internal world. The principles that lead to financial wealth can also lead to true wealth by affecting other areas of your life as well. Being a continuous student, was another thing. I desperately want to learn from other people. So there's no surprise when one of my friends, actually, I didn't realize it was one of my friends. It was one of my friend's sons who'd launched their own drink, their own spirits over in the East Nuke area. And I immediately went on and said, hey, it'd be brilliant to sit down and do a podcast. The next minute I get a message through and go, we're up for the podcast. Like, wow. I never realized who it was. And it says, we're up for the podcast. And I went, that's brilliant, because that floats my boat.
Yeah.
Understanding other people's journeys, understanding how they got to that stage, and learning lessons from them, more importantly. I mean, wealth-wise, they might not be as the same level, but they'll certainly teach me something, and they'll teach other people something, because I'll tell you what they've done. As I would have never started a drinks company. I would be terrified to do that sort of thing. But for him to do it, I think that's miraculous. And I want to get in somebody's mind that can do that. And I want to learn what they've learned and what have they done to do that. Or did they just go out there and just do it?
Yeah.
Leadership's a really good one for me. It's leading by example. I'm always the one that's out at the front, right at the coalface, every single time, leading by example, because people will follow you as a natural result. I'm not the person that actually goes, go and you go out and push other people out. Go and you go and do it all the time. It's like, that's no me. I like leading from the front. I like getting in there straight away and fighting the fight and being in the arena, rather than actually sitting in the cheap seats on the sidelines having to go at people, like most people do, especially on TikTok. A lot of people on TikTok are easy to castigate us and have a go and all the rest of it. It's like, but I would ask them straight away, what have you achieved for your community? What have you done for everyone else? How many people have you helped so far in your life? And how many people are you going to finish by helping throughout your journey of your whole life? I believe I'm here to help other people get to where they want to be. I am not here to serve myself. I am here to serve other people and help them get to where they should be or where they want to be. Now, I can't force people to get there, but I can certainly lead them and show them the way. And that's all I want to do. And that, to me, somebody actually asked what success was. And to me, that's success. When you're lying on your deathbed, the most successful thing I could ever say is, I probably helped a few thousand people or maybe more actually get to where they want. I don't care about the money. Money's not important. Money can be hard everywhere. There's money everywhere, Richard. There's an abundance of money out there in the world. And they're printing even more money. All you need to do is work out a way how to attract it towards you. And it's doing things like this that actually get it. The whale that squeaks the loudest gets the most oil. The person that gets the most attention usually typically makes the most money. Bezos, Musk.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, Jim, it's passing on that knowledge and helping people create their own success and the gratification to yourself from being able to do that. Yeah. And Mark says they're creating a legacy.
Absolutely. Creating a legacy is probably one of the most important things. I'll be honest, when you're dead, nobody will remember you.
Yeah.
You're gone. People will just forget about you after the next 6 months. But most important thing is when you're gone, who have you helped to create something else after that? Even though it's not attributed to you, what have you got? How have you helped people stand on your shoulders? I always say, and I've told you everybody this all the time, I'm very lucky because all I've done is stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before me. And my objective is to get as many people to stand on my shoulders so I can help them reach even further than me. I want people to be more successful. When somebody wins on a show, that's what motivates me. When somebody wins on a show, I get really excited when you've got an absolute 80s and heart 70s or something like that. And somebody says, and what was the magic number? Oh, I reckon 75,000 was in the bank. And they go, you're a winner. I have more excitement for them than they do for themselves. They go, oh, that's fantastic. And I'm going, yeah, beauty.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Both hands up the steering wheel. No. but that's how I feel about other people's success. And it's never been like that for me. You know, there's been a lot of hard times for me, but I've always still felt that about other people.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them be successful, then it leads me to believe that I can be successful as well. All I need to do is find out what they did.
And it can be a difficult journey, and I think that's why we started with motivation, because it's such a key part of being successful and achieving your wealth. And the reason that the deeper causes are really essential to that is because it isn't easy building wealth, and you will encounter problems along the way, and you maybe have to like figure out how to overcome them, to get through your journey to financial freedom. And sometimes you'll maybe pay the price. I mean, Jim, we've spoke previously about you struggling mentally and things to get through your journey, but you always had that motivation and you always had that goal and where you wanted to reach in order to get there, and that motivation was key in making you get there. To stay on course long enough to succeed, you really must be motivated and have a commitment that runs deeper than just the lifestyle and the money and what it could buy you. And I think motivation to start off with is a very key thing. And the next thing
we can have motivation. The most important things is have a goal.
Yes, motivation.
You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't know where you're going, it's useless to you.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you know where they're actually going to go. And it could only just be at this point in time, if you don't really know where you're going, just take the small steps. Do something. Just do it. Just do it. And the reason I say just do it is because, and it's a classic for Nike, just do it does not mean win. So Nike doesn't mean win when it says just do it. Nike means just do it to anybody. You know, just do it. No matter if you think you're going to fail, just do it.
Yeah.
Just get on with it. Because I'll be the person, for example, for Nike, I'll be the person who's on a dark night, you know, at the lamppost when it's pissing in rain, I'll be the person cheering you on. That's Nike's philosophy about just do it. Yeah. It's not about being a winner. It's about just getting out there and doing something. And that, for me, means everything, because that's what we do. Helping you manage life as it happens just so happens to be our tagline.
Yeah, it does.
But this is why it's our tagline, because it's not about selling your house, really. Yes, we're selling your house, but there's a whole lot of things that happen in between of you managing your life. And one of your stages in your life is selling and buying your next house. That's why we have that tagline, helping you manage life as it happens, because it's not just a house sale. It's everything that happens out of that. And the stress and the torment and the not being able to do and not knowing what to do, that's what we do. We don't sell houses. We solve problems and create the solutions.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is all about, and this leads me nicely into the get more value than you take, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and get more value than you take is an important bit, I think, to continue on with. And adding value to the world by giving more than you receive makes, I think, everybody better off, really.
Yeah.
And that's how you build true wealth. And Jim, you'll obviously agree with me on that true wealth is built from giving more, and you improve others' lives by improving your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. People have amassed vast empires by exploiting others or the environment, but taking value can never lead to the happiness or the fulfillment by doing that. Mm-hmm. The true value is give more than you take. It's being the servant of others. You know, there's no doubt about it. History is littered with success stories for people that have served other people doing what they're doing. That's how it's been created. So exploitation might bring these many riches, but it also brings unhappiness, and it doesn't bring fulfillment. But that's where, you know, giving the value brings that happiness and fulfillment in what you're doing. That's the giving the money away. Giving money away is a pretty selfish motive, because it makes me feel better about myself.
But it also improves. It improves other people's lives. Yeah.
Imagine if you're sitting in the seat, you know, sitting in the street, and like you've not got anything to eat at all. You're literally just surviving almost hour to hour, and then somebody comes along and just sticks a tenner in your cup, and it's like, what will that difference make to you? But more importantly, usually what they do is they go and help all their friends that are around about them.
Yeah.
With that money. So what will it do to other people, and how will it help them? That's the most important thing. So what they do is entirely up to them, but it does make me feel a lot better about what I'm doing. So,
but is that really that bad?
Giving more than you receive is actually quite a selfish motive.
Yeah.
Because it does. And for people out there, you won't get that sometimes. There's other people out there that don't have that mindset. And I would challenge them and say it's a selfish mindset. Because it's not the mindset you should have. And you'll probably not aspire to anything other than where you are right now. Or probably less. Because people won't gravitate towards you and assist you and help you because of the type of person you are. I've seen it loads and loads of times, especially in network marketing, where your success was built on the success of helping others succeed. And there was a lot of people in network marketing, and there still is today in other network marketing opportunities like utility warehousing and also like EXP, which is a state agency system. If you don't help the other person become successful, you can't get a small amount. So if you help hundreds of people become successful, you get a wee cut off everybody. Therefore, you're actually successful for that reason because you've helped all these people. So it's a natural progression of people helping people in order to succeed. So a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
Giving more value than receive and success becomes a measure of how much you've actually given rather than actually the other way around. The wealthier you become, the more you've actually more than likely given to others. And it's a rewarding way to live. This is also comes back to the 100% integrity. Why are you actually doing this? You've got to live with 100% integrity. Never do or say anything that wouldn't actually make your mother and your father proud. Don't put anything on Facebook or hide anything on Facebook that you wouldn't actually say out in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that go anonymous and they go under different names and that, and actually they actually throw in these grenades, the verbal grenades.
I don't want to.
And then they leave, but they do it deliberately to agitate everybody because something's no right in their life. They think they've got to upset everybody else and take it out.
Yeah,
they've become disruptive. So if you're not prepared to, if it's something it wouldn't make your mother or father proud, or your spouse or your kids or anything like that proud, then probably don't do it. Don't cause harm or encroach on others' property. Their morals are damaged. The environment. But don't lie, especially. See the pathological liars out there. They just have to believe their own shit.
I know.
It's like unbelievable. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them high profile out there as well. They actually believe what they say in terms of their, and everybody knows it's a lie, and they're still convinced it's true.
I was just going to say that there's certain individuals, and you'll maybe get to know them in your lives and things, and you know their character. And sometimes when they say things, and you're like, it's not true, or it's embellished, and it's like.
There's a classic example today. It's Boris Johnson. Isn't it? He's just a complete and utter liar.
Yeah,
like we're going to save 350 million every single week for the NHS by Brexit on the side of a bus, and it's costing us more than that every week by Brexit.
Yeah.
But he believes his own rubbish. He believes his own hype, and it's actually convincing people. And actually, if you say it in a convincing way, people will believe it because they want to believe it's true. The simple rule: if it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't right at all. If you don't feel comfortable telling your spouse, your children, your parents of what you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yes.
Be courageous, Richard.
Yeah. Number 4, be courageous is a good one. And humans they're social animals, which makes us cautious to venture and do things independently. Yet wealth doesn't come from following the crowd, and we've covered that many times in shows before, and it's a result from doing what others won't, so you can have what others will never will, and that's a really good, and it's the whole thing, Jim. We say today,
tomorrow what others cannot.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was going to say.
Instantly enough, somebody's actually said on TikTok, only workers can create wealth. How do capital create wealth? Well, I agree. Only workers can create wealth. It's a common purpose that people come together in order to create wealth and actually sharing it proportionally equal to the effort and the expertise that they've put into it and the capital involved as well. So there's where capital comes in. But it can be capital in terms of knowledge and expertise. It can be capital in terms of labour, but then that's obviously a different cost. So there's all different ways of people coming together and actually banding in to actually create that wealth, and everybody shares in it in proportion to what they're putting into it. If somebody puts a huge amount of millions of pounds of money into it, surely they should be getting the best return because they're the one that started it. Or would you rather not have it at all? There you go. So there's nothing. So let's say Amazon, for example. Jeff Bezos says one day, everybody in the future is going to castigate me, say I'm a billionaire, and say that's wrong. So I tell you what, I'll never start Amazon. How many jobs would not be created?
A lot.
There you go. But how many jobs have been created because he's brought all these people in and actually helped them have a job and also create wealth for themselves to the level they want? And also, if they want to go on and actually go into something else, then they could educate themselves, put in more effort, save money to invest for the future, and then they can elevate their position. If they don't do that, why do they deserve it? Just a natural, oh, you've been here. There you go. There's more. It's like, but you've not done anything more for that.
No.
Everybody else has, but you've not done anything. So you think you should get an equal proportion of that. That's not fair.
No, I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, it takes courage to be a self-starter or to be self-responsible. It takes courage to walk new paths and develop new skills and learn and things as well. And it takes courage to stand out from the crowd and put out extra effort when others don't. And I think that's a really important thing. Stand out from the crowd and do what others won't. In short, it takes courage to build wealth, and that's what we're talking about today. And it may be true that the nail stands up as the nail that gets hammered down. All right, the nail that stands up as the nail that gets hammered down.
It's all what I will say. You stick your head above the parapet, and you're going to get eggs thrown at it. Just expect that's going to happen. But as I said, the naysayers are going to sit on the sidelines, and they're going to castigate you. But in the future, in the next 10 to 20 years, you're going to be going bye-bye. Because you'll be on a completely different playing field. They will be nowhere near you, and they will just be a distraction in the past, which you didn't allow to distract you. That's what it is. The dogs will the people in the Middle East have a great saying, and it's the dogs will bark, but the caravan will still move on in the desert, because that's what happens with the camels. The dogs bark all the way around, but the camels still keep moving on to their destination. So the dogs will bark, but we'll just keep moving on.
Yeah, and I mean, but it could equally be said that obviously the nail that never get driven as the nail that didn't fulfill its purpose. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, Mark says it in here. You will in the comments. You'll create enemies. People will create jealous mindset towards people creating success, and I think ultimately live with courage, so you can live fully and experience true wealth.
You know, the one big motivator for me was, imagine if I didn't do it. And the one that drives me right now, every single time, is I think to myself on my deathbed, and I think, will I regret not doing this? And if it's you bet you're, it's like I just do it.
And pay the price. I'm not caring
if it fails. I'm not caring if it fails, if it's got a chance to wipe me out or anything like that. If I'm on my deathbed and I think to myself, I wish I had done that, I never want to have that regret.
No.
I never want to. There's so many people I know that their pivotal point of readiness was created when they actually watched their mother or their father dying on their deathbed, and they said to them, because I've heard all their stories, don't ever let it be you, what I've done. You need to go out there and do and find your purpose and go out there and do it. And for them, that's changed their whole life, because then they've realized, I never want to be that person that does that to my children. I want to tell them now, just go out and do it, have a go at it, see where they go. You've got nothing to lose at this point in time. Who cares? Just brush yourself off, start again.
And it's true, like you say, if you really want to do something, but you've got the fear of failing or not succeeding, but at least you tried. At least you could say you tried.
I've got more respect for the person that tried than less respect for the person that actually thought, nah, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But come and look at my trophies that I won at the darts or the snooker. That might pay you through your college fund for my children. No, it won't. That might help me retire. No, it won't. All that time and effort that people are putting into things that actually aren't productive. You know, it's like all this, I've got to have leisure to myself and all the rest of it. Find something that you love and monetize it. Find something that you love and monetize it.
Yeah.
Make something out of it and make it a passion. And if you find your true passion, nothing's going to stop you. That's why you get all these people that are so successful in their own fields, because it's not because they disciplined themselves to do it. It's because they developed a love for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
In any field, you'll notice the top people developed a love for what they do. You couldn't take away golf from Tiger Woods.
No, and he obviously excels at that because he loves doing it.
You can't take away swimming from some of the Olympic athletes. You can't take away cycling from Chris Boardman. You know, that's what he does. That's him. That's what drives him forward. Everything to do with that. You can't take away housing from me because I love that area. It's politically, financially, aspirationally, philanthropy, you know, all these different things.
Yeah.
Most businesses, and I was watching Diary of a CEO this morning, I was listening to it and watching it, and it says most businesses are actually philanthropic or whatever it's called. You know, because really, when a business starts, it's an aspiration to employ people to keep them to make money, for everybody to help each other make money. So there's a huge difference. So most businesses are driven for that. They're, you know, fair enough, you get a decent return, but you get a decent return for the effort you've put in and the capital you've invested as well. If you're putting your life on the line and everything on the line, is it really fair that everybody should take a share of that?
No.
Of course not. It's like if they want to invest at the same time, invest equally the time and effort and also the financial money and put their house on the line as well and all their wealth. Musk talks about all the time. I was listening to him in something the other day, and he was talking about the third attempt we failed at SpaceX. And he said, we only had one attempt left. And after that one attempt, I would have been wiped out completely. I would have nothing, zero zilch. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even own a house. He actually couch surfs on all his friends' houses. He doesn't own a house. He doesn't stay anywhere. He just stays with his friends when he goes places. Because he's not got any money.
Yeah. It's all
Elon Musk has no money.
Yeah, it's all tied
he's
up.
Got zero. People don't realize that. He's got no money in his pocket. He's got no money in the bank. It's capital that's tied up in businesses. Yes, he could sell that tomorrow and cash out and have a whole load of money. But that's not what he wants to do. This is a different driver. This is a different mindset. We're the entrepreneurial spirit and don't do this for the money. We do it for the passion and the pleasure and the drive to make things better for other people. And I would categorize myself in there. I understand myself completely and what floats my boat and what drives me. It's certainly not the money. Money is a scorecard and it keeps everything else going, and it cash flow keeps your business going. We've talked about that previously. Yeah. But that's what the most important thing is. Next thing is as well then is be disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah, be disciplined. I mean, wealth is the cumulative result of many little things added together and then compounded over a lifetime. We've done the compounding effect last week. And this means your daily habits will make or break your success. Yeah. Habits and discipline are so much a big part of the whole process and the journey in order to achieve your success. Saving, investing, reinvesting, and growing your financial and business intelligence are all essential wealth building habits that require persistence and consistent effort. And you really need to be enthusiastic about, I think, learning and continually adapting your knowledge on whatever your field is. You need
every single time. Yeah. I've just got Richard Branson's next book, which is actually a rewrite of a previous book, which is basically Losing My Virginity Again, the extended version with Virgin Galactic and also other entrepreneurial things he's done since then. So an updated version, and it's arriving today. Now, I've read all Richard Branson's books, but why am I going back to read this again? Because I want to know what he did in order to get where he was again with that. I want to know a bit more. I mean, you know, I'll maybe not be a Richard Branson, but I tell you what, it's beneficial. Look at what he's done for the world with the foundation that he's built, the Virgin Unite Foundation.
Yeah.
Look what he's done with the elders that he brought together, like Nelson Mandela and all the different people, Mother Teresa and all that. He brought these people together. A lot of people don't realize that as an elders group who oversaw things that were morally right in the world and actually influenced leaders as a result. And he actually brought all these people together. And folk castigate him for, you're all about money and all the rest of it. It's like, it's the good that you can do with it. It's probably the most important thing. Unfortunately, we're in a capitalistic society. I would love to live in a society where everybody helped everybody else, and everybody didn't worry about money, food, shelter, clothing, anything like that.
Utopia.
It would hit your beck and call all the time. Unfortunately, that system does not work, and it does not operate in this society. Our society is built, and I can't change that. I just have to play the hand I'm dealt with. But that would be a wonderful society to have. That shut the people up on TikTok.
Utopia would be the correct way to put it, but it's never going to be that.
Well, it might be that one day. It might be that one day if the most powerful people, become the most powerful people, actually get their way in that sort of field. Musk does things, and I'll refer to him again. He does the colonization of other planets for a reason. It's not for the money. It's to be able to do it. The artificial intelligence or the AI involved in people as well, in terms of how it will benefit people that have disabilities, and how it will help them, is immense. So this is all part of these lessons that we're listening here. He's very disciplined, and we'll talk about that. I mean, the wealth is a cumulative result of many little things added together, compounded over a lifetime. This means that your daily habits will make or break your successes. Saving, investing, reinvesting, growing your financial and business intelligence are all essential wealth-building habits that require persistent and constant effort. In other words, wealth building actually requires discipline. How many people out there are truly disciplined, truly do things religiously every single day in order to have the complete faith and belief that the future will lead to the place that they want to be, the promised land that they're promising themselves? I do. Every single day.
Yeah. Discipline's a difficult one for a lot of people, and there won't be a lot that could honestly stand up and say, yeah, I discipline myself every day religiously and do X, Y, and Z.
They take it or leave it. They take it or leave it and think it's optional. They think it's optional to succeed. It is not optional to succeed. You must be disciplined. You must be consistent in what you're trying to succeed in. If you don't, then you'll not get the results that other people that are doing that will have. Remember about doing today what others will not, to achieve tomorrow what others cannot. There's no substitute for this. Without discipline, you risk falling prey to the number one wealth killer, procrastination. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. Problem about tomorrow is tomorrow never comes.
Yeah.
You need to try and begin habits right now, today, without delay. This is the classic. It's like, I'll go on that diet on Monday. Well, why not just do it today? Oh, but I've got all these things I want to eat before Monday. Well, you're obviously not going to succeed, because it's not going to happen for your Monday, because you're just following the same habits. You need to form habits now. You need to discipline yourself now. You just need to get on with it and take action. The most important thing is take action. So you're falling prey to that number one wealth killer, which is procrastination. You must begin the right habits today without delay. It takes discipline to overcome procrastination by starting today and persisting tomorrow and the next day. If you persist tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, you've persisted today. There's no substitute for action. Anything less is just an excuse. I do this for you, isn't it? Is that number 75? And you go, what? Well, is that excuse 75 on my list? I do that with most people. That's what my mentors used to do with me. I've heard this all before. My mentor used to say to me, is the guys next door, is the neighbours next door lawnmower broken or something? And I went, what are you talking about? Because I was talking about, picking up the phone. Well, is the neighbours next door lawnmower broken? Is that what you're saying? And I went, I still don't know what you're talking about. He says, Jim, in your mind, any excuse will do for no doing it. That's how okay, the penny dropped. It's like, okay, I'll just need to get on with it and take action. Another obstacle, this is daily habits, and it's magical thinking all the time. This is a false belief. Another obstacle to discipline is daily habits, is magical thinking. It's a false belief that financial security will just magically appear out of thin air. This is where people go about the laws of attraction. You know, I'll attract that way. I'll just need to think about it a lot. Oh, cross my fingers and hope for the best. And it's going to happen for me. And it magically appear out of thin air without specific plan or any action actually creating or causing this. Wealth happens because you do what it takes to make it happen. Not watch it happen or wonder what the heck happened. The appearance of instant wealth actually stands on the foundation of years of disciplined and daily habits. That's how wealth is created. You know how people go, it's an overnight success, and they go, yeah, okay, it took them 30 years to get to the overnight success. But we'll not say that in the media. We'll just say it was an overnight success. Luck comes to those who make their own breaks, and of course, shows you how to do it. Labour under correct knowledge. That's what luck stands for. It's not just something that happens. You make it happen. You don't wonder what the heck happened. That's the thing. Avoid conspicuous consumptions. Let's talk about that, Richard. Number 6.
Yeah, conspicuous consumptions. I mean, that's just like the illusory, like the carrot for building wealth is the attraction of a more better and different lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So the myth is perpetuated by brokerage ads filling with sailboats and things like that as well. European vacations and perfectly manicured golf courses, and do you know that whole view of consumerism? That's a really good way to put it, Jim. And the problem, sorry,
stay away from Instagram. That's what you need to stay away from, because you see it all the time. You know, it's consumerism. It drives it, and you say, it's limited resources to be directed toward lifestyle and away from wealth building.
Yes,
because you start going, I deserve it, I deserve it, I deserve it. Classic example is Haven, Craig Tara, when you go in and you go into the pub and you go on, have a double, you deserve it. In fact, have a triple. You deserve it. And everybody goes, yeah, I deserve it. And then that's how they end up, with nothing, because they're too busy. They're too busy drinking at the fountain rather than actually investing in their future.
And then consumerism and things, it causes your limited resources to be directed towards the lifestyle, and that takes you away from building wealth. And there are competing demands for the same scarce resources, and only one can win the battle. So seek freedom and become captive for your desires. Seek discipline and find your liberty. And that was Frank Herbert that said that.
You'll have to be a limit, because I'm doing handouts for the local primary school. I'm going to see them after this to do what do you do in the day for 8 and 9-year-olds? So I'm actually putting handouts together, and I need to be right at the back of this.
That's fine. Well, as we go, the reality obviously is wealth is a form of delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And wealth builders live modestly by spending less than they can afford in terms of money and time and energy, so they can invest the difference for a greater value in the future. So they understand happiness doesn't result from the maternal trappings of wealth, because that would only keep them from fulfilling the deeper cause that drives them for success.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say so.
So every day you make a choice between consumption today or wealth for tomorrow. And that's where discipline and things comes in.
Yeah, it's the classic example. Oh, I deserve it. It's for God's sake, you don't deserve it. Invest it for the future.
Yes.
Bank it now, and that's it. Bank it. Just don't keep saying to yourself, you deserve it, you deserve it, you deserve it. Actually, bank the thing, and bank it for your future, for tomorrow, and your children's future, and everybody else's future round about you, that you'll help on their journey throughout your life. Because as I said, this all goes back to helping other people. You will not be anywhere without people. Joe Strummer, The Clash, he talked about it all the time. I've even got a T-shirt with it written on it. Without people, you are nothing. You're just on your own. What could you do on your own? Probably nothing. It'll be a lonely place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good one. So, I mean, every day you do make choices between consumption today and wealth tomorrow. And that's delayed gratification. And the only way to embrace delayed gratification as the most fulfilling alternative without any sense of sacrifice is to have a motivating cause deeper than your desire for lifestyle. And if lifestyle is your cause, then consumption becomes the priority. And that's making
that's what it does for a lot of people. Consumption actually, more or less, it does what it says in the tin. It consumes
you and takes you away from making wealth, and it makes wealth eternally elusive because your goal and your where you're intending to reach is the lifestyle as opposed to creating the wealth for your different beliefs. So
that's the people that end up never amounting to anything. And then they tell everybody else. What they do is they go away and they put negative into everybody else, and they become energy vampires because they tell everybody else how it doesn't work, whatever they've done. And do you know what it is really? It's not that it doesn't work. It's just that they never worked it. That's the reality.
Yeah, and then so you made reference to people there, Jim, and without people you'd be nothing. And number 7 for us today is build supportive environments. And if building wealth was easy, then more people would achieve it. Yet few succeed in their pursuit to financial freedom, even though anyone can put together a reasonable plan to become wealthy. The difference is consistent, persistence, focused action. Life provides an endless stream of distractions and sidetracks that sidetracks you from your plan for wealth. So the solution is to create a supportive system that keeps you focused, on track, and literally draws you towards wealth. Like you said, Jim, there's a lot of money out there. You just need to figure out a way to attract it.
Attract it to you. And it's doing things, it's just getting out there and putting your word out there and actually letting people see who you are. And you're only needing a certain amount of people who will actually work with you. And that's it. You don't need to be Musk. You don't need to be Branson. You don't need to be anybody else. You just be you and be the best version of you can be. And some people will just want to do business with you. We're only selling 200 properties a year. We will only want to sell maybe 300 this year and next year overall. So I'm only needing 300 people to put their belief in me. And there's 370,000 people in Fife. There's 170,000 households. I'm only needing 300 properties out of that. Now, if somebody sells every 6 years, so 170,000 divided by 6, that's about 28,000 a year. But I know 6,500 properties sell every single year in Fife. So therefore, 300 divided by 6.5, multiplied by 100 is literally just, I only want a 5% market share. And I'm laughing. That's exactly what I want. I'm not bored with that. I'm happy to work with a finite amount of people because I get enjoyment out of it and enjoy what I do. I don't want to be the person that continually, I'm the person that continually works anyway. But is it really work if you enjoy it? That's what you've got to ask yourself.
Yeah, definitely. But building supportive environments and things, and your family environment, relationships, your work environment, financial habits, daily rituals, and more must be proactively designed to literally pull you towards wealth by supporting and reinforcing your plans and your goals. And you must structure your life to support your wealthy outcome. It's the path of least resistance. And that's really an important thing when it comes to thinking about your whole journey and the environments you're in on that journey. Financial mentoring and coaching and educational products can help you to redesign your life to achieve your financial freedom. Just don't fall into that trap of continually just going through these training courses and things. But you can either direct your daily life to achieve your goals, or you can passively allow your days to be filled with alternativeness.
Yeah, absolutely. I've obviously got one of these people. The dogs in the caravan will still move on TikTok.
Yeah,
you know who you are. It's interesting. They're just saying you're just making this up, and it's like, hey, I'm making it up if you want. Don't listen to me. I don't care. This is only my opinion. It doesn't matter. I'm financially free anyway. I can sit on the beach for the rest of my life and drink pina coladas. Hey, can you do that? So don't listen to me if you don't want to. Some people out there will listen. Some people will get it. Some people will get the memo and go, actually, I could do that as well. Or that might actually inspire me to do something else. And that's fantastic. That's all I want for them. And I won't have any knowledge of who that person is. And they will benefit from what I've said. And that's fantastic. And that makes me feel brilliant within myself. It's somebody out there will actually benefit. And I've got loads of people who have actually come to me and said that. And that's great. But I've got other people that say, you're talking shite. And it's like, hey, if I'm talking shite to you, then just leave it. You know, jog on. I keep saying that to people, jog on. They get real upset about it. It's like, just jog on. It's like, don't listen to me. I don't care.
I do notice that people that interact on the, like Mark and we've got Gary and others are already on their journey to building their wealth. And they relate very well to what we cover because they're on their own journey and they know, and they've probably experienced a lot of this themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Apply leverage to the building wealth. Let me talk about that. Leverage is an essential success for building wealth. You don't get wealthy by trading time for money. Because we've all got the same amount of hours in the week. So unless you put your hourly rate up, that's the only way you're ever going to make anything. But you'll not get wealthy. You'll have a ceiling because you can't earn anything above what you can just do yourself. This is why building wealth requires you to work smarter, harder, rather than actually harder, by applying the following principles with leverage. Well, here's financial leverage, for example. Other people's money, so you're not limited to your own pocketbook. For example, there's no surprise, I use banks.
Yes.
I don't use other people. Well, I use other people's money, but through the banks, through the bank system. By the way, you give the money to the bank then lends it out and comes to me and goes, Jim, would you want to lend it? Do you want to borrow this money? And it's like, oh, no bother. What's the return? Oh, right. Okay. I'm okay with that. That works for me. So everybody profits in that journey. The person that puts their money to the bank profits, the person that get at the bank profits, and I profit as well as a natural result of that. And the person that I help with the money I've got and the capital I invest, it profits as well, because they profit in some way as well by the service I give.
Yeah.
Time leverage is a really good one. Other people's time, so you're not limited to 24 hours in a day. Employ people. Employ subcontractors. We've talked about this as well, Richard. You're going, I've not got enough hours in the day. Get a virtual assistant then.
Yeah, I'm in the process.
Employ a virtual assistant, and they could do all the donkey work for you. You can do you don't need to do, and they could do all that work for you, allowing you to concentrate on what you should concentrate on, which is what you're really good at, is sales.
Yes.
Getting landlords, getting investors. That's what
helping investors build their portfolio.
Yeah. So you shouldn't be planning and doing social media stuff. We could get somebody else to do that for us, because it's a systemized routine which I built. So that's time leverage by getting other people to help. Everybody benefits in that as well. Systems and technology leverage. Other people's systems and technology, so that you can get done more with less effort. No surprise, we use social media a lot, and I invest heavily in social media. Round about, I would say, £30,000 to £50,000 a year in social media. That's why the person that gets seen makes the most money for that very reason. So I invest a lot of money into social media in terms of what I'm doing, and especially in marketing as well. I would, we talk about the amount of resources and hours as well, just know the money. We're well over 100,000 in social media every single year in terms of how we're doing it. Marketing leverage, that comes into that as well. Other people's magazines, newsletters, radio shows, databases. No surprise when I put a lot of content out, you get people like, for example, the MSPs are coming to me. They want me to talk at the Northeast 5 Summit, Housing Summit at St Andrews University. So they want me to talk about that, about the state of the market in terms of how I see it as a private landlord and also as an estate agent and letting agent. We also have, I get guests invited to put in articles to the Landlord News, to the Courier, to the East Fife Mail, to the other local radio stations. I get loads and loads of requests for people to actually put in articles. Some I don't do because I've not got the physical time to do it, but I do that, and that leverages my marketing as well.
Yeah.
Network leverage. Other people's resources and connections so that you can expand beyond your own. Networking. People who know people are in the same field who can actually benefit and help each other. A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
Knowledge leverage. This is really important. This is the one that I really use to a really high degree. It's other people's talents, expertise, and experience so that they can utilize greater knowledge that even you will possess.
Yeah.
See AI, will blow you away. I actually went onto AI the other day and says, can you give me a 250-word summary of so-and-so, made in the style of Jim Parker at Fife Properties? And it rattled it off in 30 seconds. And I read it to Elaine, and Elaine went, holy shit, that is amazing what that AI's come up in 30 seconds. And it's completely in my style because it goes and trawls all the content that I've put into the system, and all the articles I've written, and then it comes up with the summary I want based on the information I've given it. Now, that is truly magical.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is leveraging really, really well. And knowledge and expertise is a really good one. I learn a lot from Diary of a CEO. That's the go-to for me. Richard Branson, that's the go-to for me. You see the blogs from Bezos. You see the blogs from Musk. You know, I take some of these things. I watch documentaries about these people. You know, the Elon Musk show is a good documentary to get into that person's mindset about how they thought and what they did. The trials and tribulations they went through and the torment and torture they put themselves through in order to achieve their dreams. Torture. Somebody's saying, you know, people will be out there saying, oh, it was easy for you. It's like, no, it was never easy for me. If you know my story and know what almost I did, you will never realize that the depths of desperation I reached, the rock bottom I hit, in order to force myself to become successful. Forcing myself. You'll either be pushed by your circumstances or pulled by your dream. If you're one or the other, you will succeed. If you're neither, you'll never do anything. So leverage, this is leverage, allows you to build more wealth than you could ever achieve alone by utilizing the resources that extend beyond your own. It allows you to grow wealth without restricting your personal limitations. Leverage is the principle that separates those who successfully attain wealth from those who actually don't. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If you aren't using leverage, then you're working harder than you should to earn less than you actually deserve. And that isn't really going to make you wealthy at all. So the key here is, the ninth one for me is, treat your wealth like a business, because it is.
Yeah.
Let's expand on that, Richard.
Yeah. I mean, well, you wouldn't build a business without a business plan. And why would you build wealth? Well, why would building wealth be any different? I mean, you should design your wealth plan based on a proven business principle that leads to success. And these principles include competitive advantage, leverage, like you just covered there, Jim, accurate record keeping, and accountability. That's just to name a few of them. So run your money like a business, because that's exactly what it is, a personal financial management business. So, and then additionally, your personalized wealth building plan should take into account your unique skills and interests and resources while incorporating the 10 rules that we've covering today, and successful investment principles, and much more as well. But you definitely treat it as a business. And when you complete, your wealth plan will be tailor fitted to your unique lifestyle and situation, while honouring the proven success principles that no wealth plan is complete without. And Jim, you've done that over the years, and that's why we do this show, because you have built your own wealth and business and had all your own principles and things and incorporated in that, and how you reached your goal. And that's why we do this show. This is where the show comes from.
Of giants, really.
Yeah.
And it's on the shoulders of giants and learned of other people. There's no surprise when I hear other people as well going online that are really successful at what they're doing, and they come out with quotes and sayings, and I think, wait a minute, that goes back to Zig Ziglar. That goes back to Tony Robbins. That goes back to Bob Proctor. Now, most people that are new to this won't actually understand who these people are, but they were the gurus, the mindset gurus of the past. These were the people. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. He was also one of the very first. Think and Grow Rich. So these are all different mindsets and different ways, and some of them will stick, some of them won't. But you'll develop your own way forward. So run your money like a business. It is. Anything less will show you that journey to wealth. I always used to get told, if you treat your business like a hobby, you will just develop a hobby income out of it.
Yeah.
And that's when I first started in network marketing. When I started years ago, and we were just selling retail products, washing powder, soap, and cleansing stuff and all the rest of it. That's how I started. That's where I got my grounding. That's where I got my baptism of fire, basically. And cold calling people. It's like, oh my God. It's like that was, I tell you, that was a baptism of fire, but it taught me a hell of a lot. It was more like a 5-year university course on how to run a business and how to build an empire. And I was, I was moderately successful in it. I got to leadership. And but there was some guys in there, they were retiring at 25 and 30 years old, financially free for the rest of their life, never really to work again if they don't want to. And that's what they told me. If you treat your business like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby income for you. That's all it's going to ever be. Finally, for me, it's steward your wealth. If someone is proud of wealth, they should not be praised until it is known how they employ it. Socrates.
Yeah.
If someone is proud of their wealth, they should not be praised until it is known how they employ it. In other words, what do you use your wealth for? Is it to buy things for you alone?
To help others?
Or is it to help other people on your journey? That's the key there. And that's what Socrates was talking about. Wealth is your servant, and you're a servant to your wealth. Money is little more than a tool that comes with a responsibility to use it wisely. A rich man really is a fool who dies without arranging his affairs to assure that his wealth does good during his lifetime and after his passing. Look at Buffett. Classic example, Warren Buffett. He's going to get billions. Berkshire Hathaway, 99% of his wealth is actually going to go to charitable. Bill Gates is the same. People go, oh, but they've got all that wealth anyway, and they've still got loads left that they can do that. Just take a look at yourself and ask yourself, what have you done in comparison to them? Yeah. Reality check, isn't it? Have a check from the neck up. And think about that. Check up from the neck up. And think about what you have done in comparison to what they have done. And then you tell me if they haven't done better than you for society. So through your legacy of wealth, you have an opportunity to bless yourself and your family's life right now and in the future. And you can go beyond that by actually expanding the circle to include the lives of all who follow you. As a successful wealth builder, you'll be in a unique position to organize charities that can do great social good. And there's no surprise that I've always wanted a foundation. Now, I've not formalized that, but I give quite a lot away. I think 30,000 last year. We're going to try and do 35,000 this year, 25,000 the year before, 30,000 the year before that. We've given over 100,000 away over the last 5 years. We've probably given a lot more than that away if you try and quantify the people we've helped on our journey.
I was just going to say it probably will be, but
that includes all the people. I mean, when you think about the amount of money I've given away or just let go from tenants over the years and just thought, okay, doesn't matter. We'll just write the rent off. And just done that. That's hundreds of thousands, I would say, over 30 years. Got to be. So again, I asked other people, it's challenging that. It's like, what have you done?
I know.
Think about it. Now, I'm not having a go. I'm just saying, ask yourself, what have you done? Because that's what I ask myself. When I look at other people more successful than me and what they've done, and I look at Branson and what he's achieved, there's no way I could have a go at him.
Because but it's not you having a go, Jim. I think it's you asking people
compared to what he's done.
Yeah, but it's more asking people that are, because usually it's people that are ready to have a go before they have a go. Maybe have a wee think before you do.
You typically find the people that do that are the selfish people in their own right.
Yeah.
And that's how they like that. Let's be honest. That's how they like that. They're bitter, they're twisted, they've got an axe to grind with everybody else because it's not worked for them. And instead of getting better or quitting, they get bitter. Because I always say that you've got three choices. You can get better, or quit. Which one are you going to do? You're going to get better, or you're just going to quit. You're just going to get better about it. Some people just get better. And that's the people you appear on TikTok. That's the people that get better. They have a go at everybody else. You see it all the time. So Always understand that the fact that you can take it with you means wealth is a gift to be given.
Yeah.
Before you go.
You can't
always
take it with you.
understand that wealth isn't something you possess, but a flow which is found a temporary parking place under your stewardship. I've always said that, haven't I? I'm only looking after 5 properties until the next person comes along. That's all I am. I'm just a steward for it. And the next person will come along and they'll take over and they'll probably do wonderful things as well, because hopefully that person will have the same mindset as me about the business. Businesses are there to help their community and help the people that work within the business. That's the whole point of them. That's why they exist. It just so happens that people that invest in that get a return as well. But of course, because the business wouldn't exist without them either. So it's a natural progression that they should get that. Benny and beyond, you know, the ABBA. I was watching their documentary the other day. It was a 30-minute documentary on BBC on the iPlayer. And it was interesting for them to say, and I actually was quite surprised, when they put ABBA Voyage on, they said, do you think you'll be doing this in the future? Do you think, well, we want to put one in Australia, you want to put one in America? And it says, well, how successful has it been so far? Well, it depends how you define success. They said, in terms of what we've done and the people that have enjoyed what we do, we've been extremely successful. But we're still to make a proper return for the people that have invested in this. Wait a minute. You didn't do this all yourself. So they've actually brought people investors in to do it with them. They haven't actually put all their capital in. So there's no surprise that these people want a return as well, because they've taken the risk. Because this could go pear-shaped. There's no foregone conclusion.
No.
But then they also talked about, which was quite interesting, I'll digress a wee bit. It says, well, would this pave the way for people like Prince to appear again on stage? And he went, well, ethically, we're not very sure about that. We can't answer that question. That's only for these people. But if you're gone, the answer to that is, should you really be coming back? And so ABBA Voyage might disappear later, once they're away. And the avatars are a true reflection of them. They're actually them. That was them that did it. That's why,
it was them that done it with the suits and things.
That's why they don't move that. That's why they don't move that much. the girls just do twirls. That's it, and they don't do anything other than that, because obviously that's them at this age right now in these suits. And
their younger avatars
wandered onto them. Yeah. And the avatar is actually taken from their 1970s footage. It's actually their footage and wrapped onto them for that reason. So it's actually them. It's there when you think about it. But not physically in the flesh, but they're there. It's not just a film.
Yeah, it's actually them that's doing it, but the appearance is them, obviously, then.
So then you ask the question, is that really a wealth creating thing? And I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's giving people happiness. It's giving people happiness within themselves, which actually makes them wealthy in a certain respect. And then it makes ABBA wealthy because they feel great about what they're doing for other people, but it also makes other people wealthy because it gives them the return that they need in order to do this again.
Yeah.
And it's successful. So then everybody benefits. Or would you rather just say all these people that are, you know, the socialists out there and say everybody should be equal and all the rest of it? It's like, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just not bother with the ABBA experience. We'll just forget it. There's no return on capital, so nobody wants to invest in it. So it'll just no harm. How many people have lost out as a result of that and their happiness? Thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
Probably a lot.
Hundreds of thousands. And people that want to hear that. I mean, I want to see Michael Jackson returning in an avatar as well. You know, I would love to go and see Prince again because I've seen him before in Germany. But, you know, whether that's going to happen or no is another story. Bruce Springsteen. You know, who are all the things you want to do? But for people out there to talk about wealth as obscene and it's not something you should have, and it's like, well, that's what actually creates all these things. It's the wealth that creates that. It's not, it just doesn't happen. It needs something to invest in it. So people will put money behind things that will create wealth for their audiences, which in turn creates wealth for themselves. See how the beneficial relationship is here, symbiotic relationship. I give you something which you love, and I'll get a small proportion of that back in some shape or form. That's wealth, a return on capital. Because I still own the capital. I still own that capital, and I could give that capital to someone else and then release that money and then go and do something else with that. So that's how that works. Eventually, the stewardship for everybody will move to others, as all things must pass, including us.
Yep.
So the wealth builder's solemn responsibility is to use it temporarily gifted power wisely, so it creates the maximum benefit for all those who are touched by what you've created in your lifetime. That's the ultimate experience.
Yes.
I shed a wee tear almost.
No, that was
Anyway,
good.
that's what drives me forward. That's ultimately what drives me forward. These 10 wealth building rules, and I hope everybody else has got the benefit out of that. Richard, last words before we finish.
No, I think that was a really good way to end, Jim. I think the 10 rules are not made up. They're very much a reflection of a lot of people's journeys, including yourself, Jim. And the rules to follow are really important if you do want to build wealth and be successful in your own journey.
Yeah.
And then really that's us for today.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, Richard.
Yeah, that was great, Jim. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will be back next week at 12:30 Monday as usual. Bye, guys.